So exactly 1 year ago, I started documenting everything that I make in terms of music production in this Discord thread. I started posting all my whips and stuff, kind of like a sketchbook for music production. So today I want to go through this last year of production, show everything I'm working on, lots of unfinished whips, lots of things I've been trying to figure out with grid patches, transitioning from Ableton to Bitwig, all sorts of stuff like that, because I think this kind of stuff might be interesting to some people. I really enjoyed watching these videos when it comes to sketchbooks for like drawings and stuff, so I thought it's about time someone makes one for music. So exactly 1 year ago I started posting all my stuff, and this will be a really long video with lots of unfinished stuff, lots of different experiments. For some of you this might be boring, for some it might be interesting. So this is when I started on the 12th of September 1 year ago. I'm gonna start with this first whip, just play with the stuff, say a bit about it, skip through different stuff, and hope that this doesn't get much longer than like 1 or 2 hours. So this was still in Ableton. It's quite an old whip, it's not polished at all, it's quite a boring thing. I'll just write lots of stuff and only finish very few, so this will be a mud pie, I reckon. I was just making various stuff. I think I had just finished diversions after this. This is the diversions cover, so this is before I finished Daylight and Clean Burning Time, or even started them really. This is just one of the many mud pies I used to make. And still make. I just make these long recordings and kind of resample them for sound design purposes. Then this will be the next whip, I reckon. Just some hip-hop stuff. I won't play all of these in full, so the next thing is kind of interesting. I started thinking about how I would want to do live sets, and I thought I would want to basically have stems of a song and have 2 versions of each stem, one more and one less intense, and kind of morph between them, which is a terrible idea because of phase cancellation and because it's just kind of boring as a thing to perform, but this was me experimenting with that in Ableton, so I'll just play you a short bit of it. Also experimenting with different panning techniques, kind of having hard panning instruments in different ears. And then just some random sound design stuff here. Using, I assume, DFX, Ruby and stuff like that. Just experimenting with things. These kinds of sounds. Just trying to kind of build a library of samples I can reuse. Another song I never finished. Most of these I never finished. Which is very much the idea. I just start lots of stuff and try to only finish the sort of better ideas, or ideas where I kind of feel like finishing it. Just experimenting, then yet another unfinished, unmixed kind of song idea. I remade my website. Then more playing around with rolling sampler here, just resampling stuff. glitched sounds. At some point I'll probably make a sample pack of these. Kind of neuro-bassy sounds with some EQ stuff I do differently now. A lot of the stuff I'm not really happy with anymore. I would change now, but whatever. You know, you get the idea, just making sounds. Then just kind of trying to start to treat my room. This is an room EQ wizard measurement. You can see that before here I've got a lot of resonances. Then I started building my own acoustic panels. And you can see how I at least managed to get it a bit more balanced out here. The low frequency stuff was really tricky to treat. This 100 Hz peak is still there in the top here, although it's less pronounced now, but my room sounds a lot better now. So these are kind of waterfall diagrams of which frequencies ring out for how long in my room, just measured with a measurement mic, and then trying to calculate how to build my acoustic panels so I can kind of treat around that area. Started building these giant panels. I think there'll be some pictures of them later. And then back to some sound design. Just experimenting, trying to find some kind of style of sound design I can use for music and that I like. And that I can be somewhat flexible with in writing songs. Experimenting with sort of more heavier stuff, just writing lots of different sketches. I hope my voice volume is somewhat alright in this video. Then trying to make pads. I didn't make many pads at the time. It's a bit quiet. Yeah, this isn't loading right now, but it's just gonna be a pad sound. Let me see if I can. Then here starting to experiment with some ambient with the same sounds. I don't normally make ambient, so I'm just kind of trying to explore different genres, I guess. This is all still in Ableton, by the way. Then I had this idea for making this ambient album called An Evening of Certainty, or I'm not sure what kind of genre I wanted to make it, but I liked the name. It's a reference to a comedy thing I like, so this is gonna be a whip for that. I think you get the idea, sort of textured ambient, droney stuff. Then this is gonna be beat based again, I assume. Really not a fan of this frequency balance, but there's gonna be a lot of stuff like that that sounds kind of iffy. Then here I started recording for a Foley pack I never finished that was gonna be glass. I might still finish it at some point, but I'm not sure. Then this will be sort of songs I worked on for a bit longer. This was me experimenting with a different kind of stereo widening technique that's very sort of sound design and arrangement based as opposed to processing on a single track. So I'll just play the full thing here, kind of show you how I was trying to create space, early experiments with different stereo techniques. Also another thing I never really finished because it sounds kind of nice, but there's no real song there I could find in it. Different bass music stuff. Also a horrible mix, but I kind of like the idea. Then I tried to kind of generate AI stuff. I used to kind of overuse AI. I'm trying to get away from it a bit for visuals, for like sample packs and so on, for the glass Foley pack. So I just generated a lot of shattered glass images here, then recorded some more glass samples. Not a massive fan of these recordings. Then another beat, I reckon. Yeah, not a big fan of this, quite sleepy sounding, quite drowsy sounding. Another one. This one is actually kind of cool, I like this one. It's kind of darker garage, I guess. This is a kind of experiment with aggressive gating of stuff for some reason. Just trying out new techniques. And we are soon approaching the point where it makes the switch from Ableton to Bitwig. Well, I'll download the Bitwig trial. horrible mix. Then I thought I'd do beats on a timer. This was the first thing I ever uploaded on YouTube. I privated these since then, since I kind of stopped doing it and I don't really enjoy them. But some of them actually turned out quite nice, and one even ended up on an album. So these are all made within 1 hour. So yeah, this kind of stuff. This was me starting to experiment with physical modeling. Kind of, I saw some of these Joel Blanco Berg videos, so I thought I'd try to make bassoons and such in Faceplant. This actually sounds surprisingly good. And then kind of playing it in lower octaves, I reckon, and just turning it into MudPie's to resample later. Sort of lots of distortion, DFX scrubby, adding some noise, adding lots of OTT. More MudPie stuff, I reckon. Just some glitch sounds. And then I thought I'd make my own reverb by just using Ableton stock delays and putting them in racks. Pretty horrible sounding. Here it's not the greatest sounding of all reverbs, it's pretty bad. Then more of that, then I thought I'd learn Max MSP, but I didn't, so that was the only time I ever used it. But soon I'll switch to Bitwig and just got into the grid instead. Then this is kind of more of that 1 hour beat. Not a big fan of this one. was once again made in an hour. Just trying stuff, just trying to get some practice in, because I always feel like I just lack a lot of experience making stuff, so I just try to make a lot of stuff. It might take a while to load. So yeah, just gonna be different kind of 1 hour beats here. This is like a specific vibe I often capture that I sometimes get from like a specific kind of French hip-hop beat or something. It's like, it's very specific feeling, but not executed very well here. Then just some pads, I guess. Oh no, this was me making like techno or hardstyle or something and being very bad at it because I don't really listen to that genre at all. Then some stems, I guess. Started working on Daylight. It started out as being named Detective Core as a joke, kind of. So these are kind of notes for what I have to do, and these will be the first few whips for it. I won't play every single iteration of those songs because that will get boring very quickly. But this was Asphalt, the first song on that album, in a very early version. And then just mixing stuff and so on. So yeah, you can hear that full song on my SoundCloud, Spotify, anything. Started to get my FX chains more organized here. And just... This is another early version of a song of that album, I guess. Didn't even have the singing yet at that point. It's dehydration, I called it, I think. So there'll be lots of kind of whips, then I guess experimenting with transitions between songs. This will take a while to load. So this will be mainly interesting at the end of the song, where I kind of try to make sure it transitions nicely into the next song. So I drag the next song into this project file and kind of try to imagine what it would be like to listen to the full album, I guess. This is the next song now. Ruins, from Scheming to Ruins. And this will be more stuff of that album. Kind of working through different iterations of different songs. So I'm not gonna bore you with all these whips too much, because you can just go listen to the album and you can see it's like version 11, version 12, so on and so on. So it'll go on for a while. This was my first ever beat in Bitwig before I even started my trial, so I couldn't export, so I just resampled it with Rolling Sampler. I just got bored one day and downloaded the Bitwig demo. More tests in Bitwig. Just my standard kind of glitchy hip-hop mix with very bad mixing at the time. And then yeah, I started noticing very early on that Ableton crashes a lot compared to Bitwig. So I got quite frustrated with Ableton at that point and sort of started thinking maybe I should just switch to Bitwig. And then there's just some sound design stuff. I used this on the album. Just some samples I made. Different experiments with Bitwig and then starting to make kick drums. And I guess just resampling them here. Sort of first experiments with the grid, I guess, just using them for sound design. I don't know what on earth I was doing here. But these all-pass filters, I guess that's meant to be kind of a noise layer or something. I don't know, I do kicks very differently now. This is more album stuff, kind of different cleanup stuff, so I'm not gonna play everything of it. This is a full version of the album at the time. And then asking for feedback here, and just, this is like a snare maker, I guess. Let me see if we have some sound demos here. Yep. Just seeing how I can use the grid for drum design. These ended up in some of my sample packs, I think, on my Gumroad. After I polished them a bit, because these aren't quite finished yet. More for renders of the album. Just weird physical modeling experiments. Pretty quiet, just sort of going with resonant bandpass filters here and trying to kind of create anything interesting, really. More album stuff, just snares. Making different kind of experiments with how I can get metallic parts of sounds and so on. This, I guess, is called Failed for some reason. Yeah, I can see why it's called Failed, it just sounds very ugly. So this is trying to make a corpus kind of thing, I assume, after seeing a polarity video or something. Just trying to create a kind of a resonator thing in the grid and demoing it on different effects. I think I also put this up for download if you're interested. It can often sound for a bit too long. Sort of on percussive sounds. Some details about how to use it, and then trying it on vocals and stuff. I don't have the copyright for this, so I'm not gonna play it for too long. Then piping MIDI into it. Then later on, I've got like working on the album again. This is a project file of change of plans. So you can see that the early bits are kind of separated out from the latter bits, and there's a lot of different stuff going on in this album. So I had to kind of, in the song in particular, so I kind of had to figure out how I can organize all these groups so it's not quite as much of a pain to work with. So I made a video about this, spectral suits devices on reverb, kind of cleaning it up, making it more tonal. Kind of removing a lot of noise. So here I started experimenting with sidechain stuff. This was a pretty stupid idea. I want to kind of do my mixing inside the grid, so I'd route different tracks in here and kind of do it everything and make it do everything automatically. I don't use this, I never use this, it's quite annoying to use. A little poem here, then a panner here. Kind of experimenting with stereo panning, I guess from another polarity video. I just watched like every polarity video when I first was learning Bitwig. Just like in a week or two I binged them all. And then this is based on his riser generator. I also made a video about this because I modified it a bit to kind of make it more usable, so you could draw in your own riser shapes and so on. These are all quite basic kind of white noise risers, but you can get a lot of different kind of characters from it. I made a couple iterations of this video. I think this was actually my first Bitwig video I ever made. So different iterations of this riser generator. This kind of stuff. I put a sampler in it and things. Just using lots of these chance modules here, of these dials. Kind of randomize everything whenever I click a button, and then something to make hi-hats. Probably also made a video about this. More work on the EP, working on transitions here. Since I always kind of want to make sure that the songs naturally transition into each other. So this is changed to the other song now. Physical modeling stuff, so like corpus type stuff, spoke synthesis. This is something I learned from audio digital. It's a kind of technique you can use to make cello type sounds. Basically what you do is you re-trigger a sample really quickly using a pulse wave. At least that's how I do it, and then I sort of mix in these different sounds and it gets you a kind of similar character to a sound that's created by bowing a string. This is another full version of the album. Just experiments here, I guess. Then some stuff for a server versus server collab on glitch.cool. I made some stuff for. Unmixed and unfinished, of course. Then some pad design here. Let me load this first. Kind of spectral sounds. Just experimenting. This is all the MIDI from this glitch.cool stuff. And this is another experiment, I guess. I assume using addictive drums, I think I bought at this point. And then these are pictures I used to use for SoundCloud covers and stuff, just some stuff I took by shaking the camera around to get these weird kind of effects here. Different, I don't know, I quite like these. Then this is a chart I use to keep track of all the albums I like. So I kind of try updating this every once in a while and listening through everything on it. Just music I like, music I find inspiring, that kind of stuff. Trying to remake Kick 2 in the grid, but doing it a bit better by using FM and such to generate transients. Here's a kick. And there's a snare you can make with it. That's the patch that I assume is on my Gumroad as well. You just go to like tildesounds.gumroad.com or something. You'll be able to find it. More snares. This is for generating metallic layers for snares and sort of snare buzz and that kind of stuff, just experimenting. You can hear how it generates that kind of noisy tail. And then just, you know, making different drum samples here that end up in my sample packs. Tilde Drums Volume 3, I assume this is gonna be Volume 2 or Volume 3, I'm not so sure. I think Volume 3. So like, this kind of stuff. I have like a specific kind of snare I really like, so that's what I'm trying to make here. Just different variations, experimenting with different techniques. Trying to get better, essentially. And then, what was I doing here? I have no idea what this is. Oh, this apparently is a hi-hat generator. Ah yeah, it's like a pink noise and then a white noise, and then I just put some stuff on it. Different hi-hat generators, trying to use them in context, I guess. Trying to kind of generate these and generate many variations quite quickly. Some of these sound pretty bad. So yeah. And then some kind of song, I guess. Oh yeah, that's somewhat uninteresting. Just experimenting with weird bass sounds. Random kind of hip-hop stuff. This is probably gonna be some pretty horrible drum and bass attempts. It's okay, but the mix isn't great. Some weird stuff going on in the stereo image. And then this is a sidechainer I made a video about. I really got into trying to create sidechaining methods, and I kind of, at this point I was still drawing the envelopes by hand with these things here. Later on I moved on more towards generating them entirely. So this is gonna be just horrible stuff that I spent like 10 minutes on, but I just tried to post everything in here just to kind of create a full record, a full picture of what I was working on. This is gonna be another pad, I guess. Then trying to make a cover for Daylight, different variations of that, kind of copying images together, putting text on it, trying to filter it somehow. This is gonna go through some more iterations. This is pretty close to final, I think. And then more work on the sidechainer, trying to get it to be cleaner. A new one. Then going on with hi-hat grooves, and then some more just experimenting. This kind of stuff, mixing the album. Another update to my chart of albums I like. Just more mixing the album, generating stuff to use for the album cover. changes to my website, another update to my album chart. I'm struggling with mixing daylight once again. There'll be lots of that. Kind of experimental dance music type stuff here. This is some kind of weird time signature. And then over Christmas I started writing scripts for tutorials. Just trying to, just because I got bored and I didn't have access to a DAW, so I just wrote my first YouTube videos, like the risers and the kickmaker and the sidechain thing and so on. And then back to mixing, learning about the Melda multiband devices, which I really need. Mixing. Tried making a compressor in the grid, didn't go that great, but it kind of works. Lots of making my CPU suffer with mixing, experimenting with weird synthesis stuff in the grid. Sort of physical modeling snare drums, which sound horrible, but it was an interesting experiment. A mix I made, to which I don't have the rights. Another mix, then 20th Century Harmony, doing exercises for that, so this will take a while to load, I reckon. Just studying composition and harmony, trying to get better at that. It's kind of one of my weak points, I guess. Just more experiments, really rusty with writing new music at that point, because I've mostly been mixing. So these I'm really not happy with. Just trying around. Some videos are scheduled. This is the thing I also made a video about, for converting key switches to for converting MIDI channels to key switches, which is just a little workflow hack with a node grid. More videos that I planned, and then more stuff here. Just various songs, experimenting around, basically trying to get better at Bitwig. Trying to get kind of faster at using it. Photos I took to reuse. I think I reused this for my Discord for a while. More photos, and then some sound design stuff here. Just stuff to resample and use as layers in project files. Making cakes again. Then more writing stuff. Then more sound design stuff, I guess. Somewhat spectral sounding things. Just weird glitch noises. Let's go down a bit here. Let's see. Trying to make stuff to cut up, essentially. Lots of stuff like that. I should probably make a sample pack of these at some point. So these are gonna be more song things, I guess. Let me just load this for a bit. Kind of experimenting with trying to mix very cleanly, as you can see here. Just trying to keep stuff super minimal. Then I've got this here. And this later version. Then what else have we got here? Trying to make drum breaks with addictive drums. Just random boring beats. Then copying sheet music into MIDI. This is kind of a nice exercise I like to do sometimes. So this is some Actus Tragicus from Bach. So I don't play with the full thing because you can hear a proper version somewhere. It's a nice piece. Then a video I made, the final artwork for Daylight. Trying different production workflows, I guess. Really kind of gating sounds, cutting them short. Maybe listen to a later version here. This actually ended up on Clean Burning Time in a different version as track 2, which I called Keep Moving. The bass line might sound familiar. Then these are studies of arrangements, so I took the wave file of songs I like and kind of tried to map out the arrangements in Bitwig. So like, when does the bass play which motif, when do the drums play, when do different sections of the song start and end, just trying to get a feel for arrangement a bit better, how to create structures that make sense. So this is an Amon Tobin track, then this is Hiatus Coyote, this is Schlappy by Mr. Bill, AU5 and Roger Wilco. And I made stupid social media accounts because I felt I had to make sure I get the name here. So I've got Instagram now, which I don't really use, but whatever. More pictures to use for stuff. Different kinds of beats I made, I guess. This is kind of inspired by New Jeans beats, which all have this kind of garagey sound. Then this is like gonna be more classical type stuff, if it loads. Some beats. I'm not overly fond of this. More sidechaining experiments, more different stuffs with experimenting with the sidechaining and just writing stuff. Let's see what this is. There's some kind of neuro glitch experiment, working on the kind of ghost arrangement of Schlappy. And on the New Jeans song Cool With You, K-pop arrangements are always very interesting because they're super well thought out and kind of on the point, which is really nice. It's a good thing to practice, I think, because they really think about how they structure their songs. So more sidechain stuff, pictures, experiments. experimenting with stuff. Very boring drum and bass. And driving that way too hard into a clipper for no reason, just try stuff, I guess. Another thing I made a video about based on Baselane, the plugin, kind of recreating some of the stuff it does in the grid, and then updates to the chart. These are all the exercises I did for chapter 1 of 20th Century Harmony, which is like the composition book I'm still studying from. I'm very slow at it, so let's see if this is gonna load. Very quiet, I see. So yeah, I'm not gonna play this right now. More photos I took, experimenting with making drones and stuff. Trying to have a look at different genres, I guess. By the way, don't pay attention to this loves number here. This is completely inaccurate because I set this up wrong. So, yeah, this is nonsense. Then more sound design stuff, I guess. Yep. Just stuff to resample and use in beats. Another mix I made, then some, whatever this is gonna be, silence, I guess, snare drums, different beats. It'll take a while to load. Just experimenting with bass design. Let me just I can hear a lot of aliasing in this bass and it's really not pretty. Then more bounces, I guess, of just snare drums. Stuff, whatever this is. More experiments here. Same thing, I reckon. Then more different whips, just trying to write lots and lots of music, kind of figure out what I want to do, what kind of sounds I want to make, how to create interesting kind of textures, how to write ideas that I enjoy. Because I'm always trying to I have this idea of the kind of music I want to make, and it just takes lots of experimentation. Another update to my website, I guess. Different experiments, trying to make some sound effects. Some recordings. he's turned into the Edge of the Forest sample pack. Different recordings at night outside of metal and sort of Foley stuff and so on. Yeah, this is trying to clean it up. This took me way too long. Clean them all up, posted them here. More beats. Another one. Ah, it's a snare drum. That ended up in Drums Volume 3. I like the snare. Trying to transcribe music, which I'm really bad at, so I'm trying to practice it occasionally, definitely not enough. Just random sound design stuff here. Then trying to somehow create a cover for Volume 3 and abandoning lots of ideas. This is working on a remix for Lither in Mud. So she wrote a song and asked all of us to make remixes about it. So this is on Spotify and stuff now. I think it's definitely on SoundCloud. So I won't play with these. You can go listen to these on my SoundCloud. Snare drum, trying to transcribe more stuff, work on the remix, working on my chart of albums, another MIDI utility that's kind of for relating BPM to pitch and kind of experimenting with that. Picture of a cat, remix stuff. Now what? This guy always just plays this stuff. Yeah, these are all just snare drums. I'm trying to finish that thing, writing some other stuff. Pretty boring beats, just kind of writing casual nonsense. Then different stuff. I'm gonna play you the latest one. Yeah, not a big fan of this. I considered finishing this, but I never did. Ugly cover for Volume 3. I'm really not happy with this cover, but I think it's actually what I ended up using. Making a drone generator to practice improvising on my keyboard. And more album chart stuff. Working on songs. I don't know what this is gonna be. Oh, this actually ended up on a compilation album that'll be coming out this month, I think on the 26th or something like that. Let me look at my calendar. I think on the 29th of September we'll be releasing this album here. I'll post more on the community notes type thing once I know more, but this will be one of my tracks for it. I made 2 tracks for it. So this is transcribing stuff again. Trying to edit stuff, I guess. I won't play you any of these transcriptions just because these all include music that I don't have the rights to. And listening through my chart, kind of ticking off what I've listened to. Another kind of New Jeans inspired beat, I guess. The second version I think sounds way better because I fixed the hi-hat somehow, if I remember correctly. Yep. More work on the remix, asking for feedback on it, then some sound design stuff. Just experimenting with different techniques. Let me just scroll down a bit. These are gonna be a lot of different samples. trying to make cool kind of ear candy type sounds. Working on the remix, working on the remix, working on the remix. This is a weird thing that I started working on, never finished. Kind of like this groove, but I never could get it to sit quite right. Remix stuff, working on some sound collage, experimenting with it kind of. Just inspired by a friend of mine that does a lot of sound collage stuff. Trying to kind of bite her style, I guess. Pretty bad what I'm doing here. I don't know. I think I got better at this stuff later on. Just sound design stuff, and this is trying to start making slides for videos I started making about explaining kind of fundamental technical concepts and mixing and so on. So this is about EQ. I never made this because I thought it was quite a boring video. Then this is about compression. I did make this, it's on my channel, trying to visualize, find ways of visualizing how attack and release and so on work. A video about ear training. Some more video stuff, trying to think of stupid funny titles. This I never made, and there's like compressor stuff here, some music, because once you start working on videos more, you end up making a lot less music, which is kind of frustrating, because of course you can't really teach people how to produce music if you end up teaching all the time and never even making music. So I need to be kind of careful that I don't just stop making music and just talking out of my ass about stuff I don't even do anymore. I want to get back to making more music, but I definitely making videos takes time, so yeah. Lots and lots of unmixed, unfinished stuff. Stuff on reverbs, kind of trying to visualize how bass multipliers change the sound. You can see how the bass rings out longer. Just thinking of different ways of explaining stuff that I felt were maybe missing on YouTube for now. Stuff on LUFS, like this is the frequency response curve of LUFS. I've got the video about that called Everything About Loudness or something, which I think is quite useful to understand. This is about saturation, kind of different techniques of how to control it. The loudness one finished. One about different sidechain methods, so like comparing sidechaining with a compressor, with a ducker, and with like something like Soothe or DSEQ or something, and then the kind of issues you can get, trying to visualize them, explain them that way. Something on metering, kind of shouting out millimeters, which you've seen in this video here all the time, the bottom of my screen. Then making music. Just experimental stuff, I guess. Working on a video about stereo stuff. I never finished this. So this is something that I abandoned and then much later returned to and recently made a video about, because I felt at this time I didn't quite understand it well enough. This is some collage stuff. Very not mixed. Experimenting with different tempo stuff and so on. just a beat. With playing around with changing the tempo as I change the bass note, and the bass note is kind of an upper harmonic of the tempo of the song, which is something I was obsessed with for a while. Doesn't sound too great, didn't work out, but you've got to try this stuff, you know, when you've got an idea. Maybe it'll work. Trying to write something a bit heavier. Very unfinished. And I guess some kind of philosophical musings. Make of this what you will. At the time it felt important. Then this kind of stuff. Adds in the ambient stuff. Then trying to write for solo instruments, really working on composition. This is very quiet. Writing for solo harp. Always kind of trying to expand my range a bit into other genres I enjoy listening to. It's quite boring. Video on transients and trying to make transient shapers in the grid. Collab stuff. That will be finished soon by the end of this month. So I abandoned this for a while. Because right now we're still in April, writing for vibraphone and for Rhodes type stuff I made in the grid. Trying to move into more atonal stuff. So yeah, grid stuff, then album chart stuff, sorry, and another work in progress, I guess. Just some ambient stuff. Really weird YouTube comment I got. I don't know, sometimes I get very strange comments. Trying to build acoustic panels, so this is Rockwool, the most disgusting substance known to man. This is like 2 meters 40 by something. So these are giant panels, trying to get my room to sound better. Yeah, you can see here measuring the frequency response before and after. Trying to figure out if what I'm doing is actually working or not. Sound design stuff. That's not really working. Collab stuff, just some stuff here. I think I did this on stream. I did a lot of this stream a lot at this time, then making the compressor video, making a stupid thumbnail that I thought was funny, I guess. Trying to kind of visualize routing in a DAW for a video, working on further panels here, just putting them up here. And then being kind of shocked at how cheap instrumentalists are on Fiverr. Like, this is a really good bassist. That is just $20, so that was kind of concerning in a way. But this is like writing for cello, I guess. Making a cloud here. Then trying to write for orchestral instruments just to get better at composing. Trumpet. Then I started experimenting writing with just sine waves. Even the drums and stuff. Which gets very interesting looking spectrograms because every kind of harmonic you play is intentionally. Interesting exercise. Synthesizing cymbals. Kind of using the thing AU5 did in Serum a while ago and trying to make it in the grid. Doesn't quite work here, but later I got it to work. More just writing with sines. I also did these on stream. Something else here. Just making drums. Trying to write for more acoustic instruments again. Just experimenting. This one I ended up finishing. I think this ended up turning into a lot of people's favorites on the new EP. It's called Pressure Chamber. People seem to like this one. Kind of working on this. More hi-hat synthesis. Just because I thought this was kind of interesting. Or this sounds horrible. That's the issue with hi-hat stuff. You can really make it sound quite horrible. Physical modeling experiments. Everything in this beat is kind of physical modeling stuff in the grid. Also made this on stream. Then experimenting. More experimenting, I guess. Yeah. This is kind of when I started working on Clean Burning Time, I think. No, it isn't. More boring stuff. Collage music here. Which I'm not very good at. what I can come up with. More sound design, I guess. Weird snares that don't really sound very good. More hi-hats. Kind of happy with the sound for a hi-hat. Then let's move on to this. This is a really bad loop I made when I was really tired, and I apologize for what I'm about to make you listen to. I really don't like this, and I don't condone this kind of music. I hope you can forgive me. More work on that stuff, more work on a collab. I'll play you the collab track a bit later on. Trying to organize my projects, making a video about Bitwig versus Ableton with stupid thumbnail once again. Stuff I talk about in the video about ear training. Kind of collab for the same compilation that I talked about earlier. Working on that more. Sonic Sorcery Challenge, which is the Max Conye server. I sometimes do like challenges for that. More collage stuff, I guess. Sound designing. Then working with panners again. Kind of the same challenge, I guess, again. Then this is the collab with Claire again. More for the biome challenge. This is, I guess, the final version. I think it's published on the Forum SoundCloud now, so if you want to go listen to that. It's called Boltzmann Brains or something like that, I think. Made this tutorial library where I post any YouTube tutorials I like by other people and sort of try maintaining it and keeping it updated. Lots of pictures of a forest, AI stuff, notes I took, biomes challenge. Little work in progress here, I never finished. Just experimenting around. More collab stuff. A limiter I made for a video, experimenting with Blockhead here. Just because it's kind of an interesting DAW and a cool idea. Then working on my Vital Sound Design course, I now finished. Sort of different things about how to use sort of the basic ideas behind sound design, oscillators, envelopes, filters and so on, explaining all the effects and then showing some demo patches and so on. You can find this on my little website thing. Putting something together on sample rate and bit depth, so trying to find pretty pictures to illustrate my points. Kolugo, the death of Blockhead, saw a video of mine that I was very happy about. This is when I finished the Vital course. This is like trying to do a panner again. More chart stuff. Made some music. This ended on Clean Burning Time, my EP. But it changed quite a bit, so you can hear a later version here maybe. Oh no, this is something different. I never finished this. It was horrible. What's this? This ended on the compilation that's coming out end of this month, but I fixed the harshness. Then I made a lead sound because I felt like electronic music doesn't have enough lead sounds. Just with Vital. Another one. More more of a pad than a lead. I made my first course kind of introducing to the basics of Bitwig, trying to go through what the general process for making a song is. I'm not very happy with the song I made in this, but the information in it I think is pretty good. So I guess it's more about showing all the things than really about taking the time to make like proper music with it, because that just takes lots and lots of repeating and iterations and so on. More graphics for like a video about a map of music production, Bitwig course stuff. This is the collab kind of track. So a little preview here. More stuff for the course you can find on my website. Kind of trying to finish it, mixing, mastering and so on. More collab work, then trying to finish the stuff for the compilation. Made a thumbnail for the video about panning and kind of polar coordinates and stuff. Just experimenting around here, doing some exercises. Stuff I made on stream here. None of this really made it into finished music. Trying to write riffs, I guess. This ended up on the Clean Burning Time EP. This will take a while to load. I added some melodies and stuff, of course. And more stuff that ended up on the EP. This ended up turning out to be top entertainment, and then this is another work in progress stuff. Just experimenting around, working on different things here. I never finished these either. These are sort of more for the EP here. Another course I'm working on that I didn't finish yet. I don't know what this is exactly, just some snares. Then these are early states of all the EP tracks, so like the Clean Burning Time EP. Very bad mixes still. Some beats for fun, I guess. And more stuff for the EP. Yeah, you can listen to the EP on my SoundCloud or something if you want to hear the full thing. Taking pictures of snakes, more EP stuff, a thing for a challenge, which is just very quick and dirty, sort of making weird noises. I don't know. Kind of has a weird way it works with time. It's like a grid patch. I made it on stream, I think, so if you want the full explanation of what this is and why it sounds so weird, go there. Just glitchy stuff. Working on the sidechainer again. stuff for the EP. More stuff for the EP. Trying to finish it, then trying to make a cover here. I abandoned all these, sort of getting closer to a final cover, and this ended up being more or less the final cover. These are the songs, 20th century harmony exercises. More stuff for the cover, trying to make artwork, working on the side chainer here. 2 more exercises finished. Trying to write the video about Bitwig's grid I made, which took quite a bit of thinking. Then trying to model stylized piano feedback. So the notes resonate with each other depending on which keys are pressed. Doing this with the grid patches, FX grid patches. It's kind of a cool effect, I quite like it. Then just horrible beats. You can see I'm kind of losing patience with myself here, all these different whips. I hope I'm not boring you too much. Most of you probably already clicked off. This is more stuff on the sidechain. More for the Elements challenge. This is the final. It's a kind of a track that's meant to symbolize water. And the feeling of water and the ocean, kind of. And then next, some experiments for my video on panning. Quite a bit quieter. More experiments. Taking weird blurry pictures again. Working on different kinds of sounds here. Spectral type stuff. Collage music. Then horrible drum and bass kind of music. Then I wrote 2 sketches for piano. So that's just solo piano music. I want to do this more because I think it's really good practice. It's a bit quiet. Hope you can hear it. find the second one. And writing my video on stereo panning, trying to make generative techno in the grid, I think. Or at least techno-ish stuff. Techno adjacent, sorry that it's so loud. Lots of renders of that. Trying to do some collage music. No, a mix. Another mix I put on my SoundCloud. Sound design, I guess. Yeah, this is when I started trying to use the grid more for creating synth patches. I want to make like a sample pack, patch pack of 100 good grid patches, so that's what I'm working on here. And more stuff for that, I guess. No, this isn't for that, but this is. Trying to figure out what sounds interesting, what doesn't. How can I combine different signals in the grid? How can I add them, multiply them, and so on. For example, here FMing with white noise. I'm sending it through a comb. Physical modeling stuff. Just trying to design some sounds. Metallic kind of sounds. Yeah, I don't know if these are quite finished yet. These are the first few sounds I made for the pack. Trying to do physical modeling of an upright bass, which was kind of interesting exercise. The transients need some work. Kind of weird sub sound. This is for the collab for DJ set type thing again. More progress on these sounds here. Then this is something I'm working on right now, where I'm trying to make a video about every actually this is the end of the year already. Every effect in Bitwig, so I'm trying to make a course for it. I wrote some scripts and now I'm recording them all, so you can see I just want to kind of explain them and then show some creative ways of using all the different effects. This will be on my website and on the Udemy and stuff when it's done, which is hopefully in a few weeks. Probably when this video comes out, this might already be done. But as you can see right now, I only have like, this is maybe a third of the course or something like that, and it's already at 4 hours. So it'll be a long one, but there'll be a lot of information in it. And I hope some of you will find it useful. You can kind of just skip through this. You don't need to watch every single one of these if you're not interested in any particular effects. So yeah, that's the year. Kind of, I don't know if I have any conclusions. I just thought this might be interesting for some people. I know that I enjoy watching this kind of video. So kind of wish I hadn't made more music for a year. It's not that much, I feel like. But maybe I just spent too much time kind of finishing all these albums and just mixing them endlessly. So yeah, interesting. If you stuck around till now, I don't really know what else to tell you. Hope you enjoyed. See you in the next one. A bit of a shorter video.